Hi everybody, welcome to Daily Deco. Today's episode of Daily Deco is sponsored by our very own Teespring store, but more about them later. Jumping straight into scuba diving news. So the first one comes from Thailand, where a scuba dive centre owner has basically been kicked out because he uploaded photos on Facebook. So this is an Hungarian national called Attila Ott, and he was one of the owners of the island's Pink Panther Scuba Dive Club. I don't know if that's a good name for a dive centre or not. Has the Pink Panther ever been scuba diving? Who knows? But this was so he was diving with another, a Dutch-Italian man called Francesco Simonetti, and
beautiful.
And, well, thank you. I'm well travelled, and and yeah, they were diving off Koh Pha Ngan. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Nan with a G in the middle, and they uploaded photos and videos of themselves, basically holding, poking, and kind of tickling marine life, which is obviously a big no-no. All scuba divers know: look but don't touch. Basically the Taiwanese government or someone basically saw these sort of pictures. They tracked him down and basically cancelled his visa. They arrested him. Yeah, they arrested him the beginning of September. And recently, a few days ago, they basically cancelled his visa and deported him back home.
Good.
The friend Simonetti, where was it? So he was. So he worked at the Barracuda restaurant, and he's still in the country. He managed to post a 50,000 baht bail, which is just over £1,000. It's about £1,200, and he's like lodged an appeal with the Immigration Bureau. But they're basically saying, no, just don't. By all means, come to our waters, go scuba diving, enjoy yourself, but don't touch things. Don't molest the local wildlife. And yeah, they're basically saying, any tourists are just going to be reminded, do not disturb the environment. And
definitely,
which is perfectly right. I think most scuba divers know, especially if you're a dive centre owner, you should really know better. I think every dive centre that I've been diving with has literally got sort of all these sort of murals on the walls saying, right, do this, but don't do that, and do this. And so, yeah, stop it. Don't touch things.
Yeah, respect the wildlife. I'm glad that they're making an example, and hopefully the Dutch-Italian dude doesn't get the okay. Hopefully he does get kicked out too. Deservedly so. You need to make an example of these people, otherwise what's the point? If you don't make an example, then people are going to do it.
Yes, there's all these kind of typical comment, seems very excessive. I guess they just took his shop and all his belongings. No, they're not trying to steal his dive centre. It's the fact that he was doing something wrong. If you're going diving, don't touch anything. No. The next news story is a little closer to home, and this one is a little confusing because there's two separate Amsterdams. So basically, back in like the 1700s, I think it was, there was a ship called the Amsterdam, and that got into trouble in the British Channel, and basically the captain beached it just off of Hastings on the kind of the southeast coast of England, and basically all of the crew, he beached it so that everyone could get off safely. They all did, everything was fine, but by the time they got back to it, because of the waves and the sandy kind of substrate, the shipwreck just basically sunk into the sand, so they couldn't sort of retrieve it, and it's kind of been there ever since, really. But now plans for a new underwater museum to preserve this one specific shipwreck have been unveiled. So what they're planning to do is basically to like dig underneath the under the sand underneath the shipwreck and put this I can't remember what it was, but like a big sheet sort of underneath it, taking the water and some of the sand with the shipwreck. They're going to lift it and then kind of transport it in the water. They're not going to lift it out of the water and risk it just collapsing and decomposing. They're going to kind of transport it in the water from Hastings to Amsterdam, so that Amsterdam shipwreck is going to return to Amsterdam, the place, and then they're going to basically construct a underwater restoration museum around this shipwreck. So it's always going to remain underwater. And whilst they're restoring it and sort of trying to sort of analyze it, there's going to be these like window or sort of windows, underwater windows, all the way around it, so that tourists can come and kind of see sort of what the archaeologists are doing to the shipwreck, which is just cool.
I think it's really
there
good.
should be more underwater museums.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout. Because like I went to the Merry Rose years ago. Yep. And even though it's called a sea, obviously there's continuing, or when I was there, it was a continuing flow of water, obviously going on the woods or whatever. And I'm like, well, this is cool, but it's like it's not in its home. Whereas in obviously keeping it underwater, but having archaeologists work on it and see what they do. Yeah, I think it's cool. It's just as long as it's where they put it, it's clear water. Otherwise, or like when they start like dusting stuff off, it doesn't get too silty. So then you go there to go and see it. You're like, oh, this is great. I can't see.
Yeah, it's a bad day to visit.
Yeah.
But they say because they sort of abandoned ship so quickly, it's still got a lot of stuff inside of it that no one's managed to sort of get out of it.
That's
so
really cool.
They're hoping to find a whole treasure trove of sort of information and bits and bobs from it.
Cool.
Talking about amazing sort of treasure troves, our very own Teespring store has plenty of Simply Scuba merchandise on it, including t-shirts, hoodies, and sort of mugs, phone cases, socks. Do we do leggings? I know we looked at leggings. I don't know whether we actually made any.
No, I don't think we've made any. Not yet, anyway.
No. Not yet. We're working on it. So right now we are offering 15% off of our Teespring store. So head over to the link down in the description below. Have a look around the merchandise. Pick something you fancy. Choose the colour, choose the size, and all that kind of stuff. And then at the checkout stage, use Daily Deco as a discount code, and that will get you 15% off of your offer. You're getting a little bit too close for a Christmas delivery. It's a bit too late for Secret Santa. So this is really your shipment's realistically going to arrive come 2021 or sort of between the Christmas and New Year period. I don't really know when their factories close and reopen. But yeah, use promo code Daily Deco before December 31st, and that will get you 15% off of your offer.
Awesome.
The next news story I touched upon yesterday, and this is in Maine in the US, which had an unfortunate accident a little while ago, a few weeks ago actually, and there's actually more to it than I first understood. So basically, the UK is part of the Basel Convention, which I'd never heard of, and countries who are in this Basel Convention prohibits the export of hazardous waste from member states to other countries to be landfilled or incinerated. The United States is the only country in the global north that is a non-party to the Basel Convention. So basically the UK, we had a whole bunch of sort of plastic that people have recycled. They bundled it all up, but there was nothing that they could do with it except sort of dispose of it. So they shipped it from Northern Ireland to Maine, so that it could be incinerated. Unfortunately, whilst they were sort of unloading 20 million pounds of weight, not sort of value, of plastic weight. 20 million pounds. So whilst they were sort of unloading this a couple of weeks ago, some of the plastic bales basically fell off the ship and just ended up just kind of like breaking apart. And local residents around sort of Maine and that area have been sort of reporting just a drastic increase in just bits of plastic sort of in and around the beach and all that kind of stuff, which is of course terrible. They have been sort of doing beach cleanups to sort of clean this stuff up, but who was this? Perry Wheeler, the senior communications specialist, or the American senior communications specialist for Greenpeace, basically said that it's kind of a reality check for Americans, because America has been such a producer of plastic, like single-use plastics, but once they've used them for 10 minutes, however long it takes to drink a drink or whatever, and it gets sort of thrown away, they don't really see it again, because it gets exported to other countries to be sort of got rid of. But now mainland America is actually finally seeing the effects of, well, yeah, this is what happens to this plastic, and if something goes wrong, it just ends up in your sort of waterways and whatnot, as well as it's being incinerated. So all this plastic is just being burnt. So people in the local communities are sort of reporting these like health issues, which are probably due to this sort of plastic incinerator plant. So it's the news article continues on to basically say, instead of sort of focusing more on recycling, we need to be the first the reduce. So we need to reduce the amount of plastics that we produce in the first place, and then we need to contend with what we've already made, because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
sad times, mate.
It's one of those things. It doesn't sound like it's going to happen again, because as of January 1st, 2021, we won't be able to sort of ship these plastics from the United Kingdom to the United States. I presume that's something to do with Brexit. It always amazes me that a country like the United States, who says they're the best in the world and all this kind of stuff, and yet they're not part of this sort of Basel Convention, the only country in the Northern Hemisphere. I don't understand why.
It depends on... no, there is one big thing why. If this happened over the past 4 years, it's because of their administration.
Probably.
If it's older,
they pulled out of the Paris Agreement.
They pulled out of that as well.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, hopefully they can sort of clean this up as quickly as possible, and the locals, they always seem to be sort of willing and able to sort of help out. But that's why I quite like the things like Pick Up 3 sort of system, which I saw a little while ago, and that's something that I try to adhere to. And it's basically, if you go out for a walk, or if you do sort of see something, just pick up 3 bits of trash and then dispose of it properly.
That's really good.
Too many people just kind of keep walking, just kind of out of sight, out of mind. They keep walking, but
it's going to be a bit awkward, Mark. I'm a part of the Throw Down 5. I just get trash and throw 5 bits of trash.
Dispose of 5.
What I like to do is, the plastic, the things that hold beer cans, I like to throw them in the river for the ducks. I don't do that, really, guys.
Those like plastic beard, like the circle rings.
you know it. I'm aiming for the family of swans. I'm aiming for the family of swans in the river. They don't seem to be. They just don't want to get involved. I throw
you just want to check the wind. It's like okay, so there's my angle.
You get this is going to be very British, but the summer fates, and you have the ring toss game. I guess you have in finals, something like that. Get the swan.
Yeah, no, I brought my own rings.
No, definitely. If there's anyone from Maine that are watching, because obviously we have a very strong US following, is it a massive problem? Have you noticed the wash up? Let us know.
Let us know down in the comments. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's probably going to take a while. It's not going to be gone like within months. It might take a good couple of years, depending on. It's quite a lot of pounds of rubbish.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't £20 million that they dropped. It was only a couple bales. But these things, they're still like compacted sort of plastic trash. So yeah, as soon as that sort of hit the beach, it just like bust open, and now it's just going to be sort of floating around and
or it's like an onion. There's like a layer. It's just going layer by layer.
Just peeling off, and it's just more and more plastic. Anyway, on to more futuristic news. So this is a kind of a video documentary that caught my eye, and I thought it's worth you guys sort of seeing. So this comes from the grandson of Jacques Cousteau. And it's basically a video documentary on living underwater. So for those of you who don't know, Jacques Cousteau, back in like the 60s or 70s, whenever it was, he and his like diving crew basically created and built and lived in some underwater habitats, because when they were doing their research, it was so much of a hassle to sort of go down for like an hour or so underwater, then they'd have to decompress on the way back up, and then sort of spend time on the surface. So they decided to build and like experiment with these underwater habitats and basically sat diving, so that they could stay underwater saturated with these sort of background gases, so that they could go diving more frequently without having to decompress as often. And it basically goes through the history of like how the American Navy and NASA sort of experimented with this, and all of the sort of the considerations, like with because you need sort of airflow, and to get rid of sort of the carbon dioxide that builds up in the underwater habitat. You need to be able to get rid of that, but it's also an incredibly humid environment, so trying to sort of sort out gases is quite tricky, and of course keeping divers warm is quite hard when you're submerged under the water in a metal container. Dealing with helium to sort of work with trimix. So it was a very interesting watch. It's about a quarter of an hour long, it basically sort of follows the Cousteau family, because Fabien Cousteau, Jacques Cousteau's son, he spent was it 30 days underwater a little while ago, to basically sort of go through what's involved, and just kind of sort of saying that this kind of is the next sort of frontier. It's he wants to build sort of an international space station of sorts, where it's a kind of a global sort of underwater station where they can run experiments, and they can sort of live underwater for prolonged periods of time, but comfortably. But unlike a submarine or sort of sat dive, where they sort of come back up for sort of fresh air, it kind of stays there. And much like the International Space Station, divers go down, they do their work for however long, a month or so, and then they decompress on the way back up, but then another team kind of relieves them. It is quite interesting. It's cool, and
give it like 10 years and the whole of Kent will be in the water, so you could just use Kent.
It'll be like the opposite of the Jetsons
and everything.
No, I often think of sort of stuff like that, like what is it? The scene from Waterworld, where this entire like city is underwater. I was like, it would be amazing to scuba dive in an underwater city. Just looking through like office buildings and stuff, that would be fascinating. It's a little dystopian, but I think it'll be interesting.
Well, to be fair, you could probably go to like the London Business Centre right now and just pretend to be in water, and it's all empty anyway. So
just completely empty.
Just go in there.
That, and just sort of old museums and sort of buildings like that. Anything with sort of big open spaces. I just think, it'd be really nice if this was underwater, so that I could physically swim up to go see that.
We've done that, didn't we? A video, future dive sites, I think, part 2.
Yeah, that would be amazing to see underwater. Yes.
So are you you're the one that keeps leaving taps on? Everywhere you go, just leave a tap on, let it run. Slowly getting in under the water.
That's it. That's exactly how we're going to shift the water table, just by leaving our taps on. But yeah, we'll leave a link to the video down below to the video article, so that you guys can see it, because it is just interesting, sort of learning and thinking about the basically what it takes to sort of survive underwater. It's not as simple as just sort of making a habitat. It's it's living without natural light and natural heat. So yeah, it's an interesting view if you've got a quarter of an hour free, which a lot of us do, because I'm not commuting to work anymore, so that's an extra hour or so each day that I have to myself.
Yeah, I don't get on a train, which took 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then I had to wait for the train, which was about 7 hours. So
yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, that's it for the news. I don't think anything vastly interesting has arrived in at Simply Scuba, but we do have sort of more and more stuff in stock, so it's worth sort of heading over if you want to check out sort of Aqualung's new range of equipment and some Apex bits and bobs.
There is some Cressy on there at the moment. I noticed
has Cressy arrived?
Yeah. Because it arrived. The thing is, basically, stuff is in the warehouse. We know that stuff's in the warehouse. It's just it takes time to process it and to get it on the website. So we know brand like Aqualung, Apex, Cressy. We know that they're all sat in a warehouse in a box somewhere on pallets. It's just we just don't know when it goes live. But yeah, no, I checked yesterday and there is some. The Cressy, is it the some masks? It's not the Calibro. Calibro?
Oh, Calibro. Yeah. Ooh, I like the Calibro. So the Calibro mask is... Oh, okay. So the Calibro mask is basically... It's kind of like a freediving mask, but it does have sensible sized sort of lenses. But one of the best things about it is it has a anti-fog sort of nose pocket. So instead of having a traditional mask design which just has the skirt that just goes around your face, this one has a little one that goes over the top of your nose as well, so that when you exhale to sort of relieve the squeeze on your mask, it basically stops that like humid gas from sort of coming out of your nose and going over the lenses. So I took a brand new Calibro mask straight out of the box, put it on my face and just exhaled through my nose. And most masks, they normally just fog up in an instant, but this one took quite a while for it to actually fog up. So yeah, I think that's very clever, and I can see this technology sort of eventually becoming the norm, because that was very, very effective with no defog treatment or anything. Yeah, it took quite a while for it to even fog up. So yeah, Calibro, spelt with a C. Yeah, definitely check that out.
But other than that, I don't.
Element.
Yeah, I didn't actually see if there's any fourth element. Let's do that. Why not? Let's go on the website. Let's do it.
They have, and the new blue duffel bags have arrived. So Fourth Element, they had those bright orange duffel bags, the ones that are a lot like the North Face ones.
Yeah.
So they did it in this sort of day glow orange, which is great for kind of expeditions, for sort of seeing in your bag. Now they've done it in this really kind of light teal kind of blue, which is really sort of up my street, sort of electric blue. Just nice. As tough. But yeah, lots of stuff. Rash vests, all sorts of rash vests. We got.
Oh yes, they got the Fourth Element water bottle. Yes. Yes.
They sold surprisingly well, especially the Gulper, because they're insulated. So yes, definitely new stuff is arriving. It's basically where the warehouse, they didn't know the barcodes of all the new stuff, so they're basically this huge crate of stuff just arrives. They open it up and they go, okay, I don't really know what this is. They scan the barcode, nothing happens. So they basically have to type in each barcode, but it looks like they've done that. So happy days, all sorts of bits and bobs. So we're kind of back up to speed. We're not at 100%. I think the main sort of unveiling of sort of Simply Scuba is sort of scheduled sometime next year. This sort of grand reopening, but by all means there is sort of stock coming back in. So if you want anything for sort of Christmas, or more realistically between Christmas and New Year's, head over to simplyscuba.com and go shopping. And I think we're a bit more global as well. I think international shipping is a bit more feasible than it was before.
We're not, because again the company now that we're attached to has global shipping. So I think a lot of the reasons why we didn't do global beforehand was because of pricing, and obviously America has a certain subject or a certain, not tariff or whatever, but like there's pockets of things where we could sell to, whereas now we're a global market. Literally all they have to do with the website, and hopefully they do this at the top bar, you just go, right, I want to go from pounds to dollars, and then all we have to do is convert whatever the price is in America, and then adjust our price to that. Then they can send it overseas and stuff, because we get so many comments saying, oh, can you ship here, can you ship here? It's like, technically we probably could, but it's a bit of it's not really been tested, has it really?
There are some caveats to that. There are some brands that have regional requirements. So some brands we can only sell in the UK. Some brands we can only sell in the European Union. I have no idea how that's going to change come the new year. And then other brands are a bit more sort of loosey-goosey. But yeah. Just sort of go shopping around, see what's available, and if it's available in your country, wonderful. Place an order, and it will be good for the warehouse to get back in the sort of swing of things, or get in a new swing of things with scuba diving equipment.
Cool.
Oh, it's more work for me though, because I've just seen that we just got Fourth Element's new surface wetsuit, which is basically a plant-based neoprene. It's not like petroleum based. It's basically grown, and I've scrolled down and it has it's got no description. So I'm like,
what are you on about? It says
to write that.
Sustainability, recycled content. There you go. What more do you need?
Yeah, that's one thing that I might touch on sort of now. So when you scroll down on a product page, right underneath the main sort of heading, you'll have these new sort of icons, and one of them is the sort of recycled content. So if there is an item that the manufacturer uses recycled content, it sort of highlights it there. So that's us kind of mentioning it. So it's a bit more sort of environmentally friendly. So you'll start seeing stuff like that on the website. Anyway, that's about it. Again, if you have any interesting news stories, let us know down in the comments below. If you have any questions, comments, queries, or whatever, again, let us know down in the sort of comments below. They will be answered tomorrow, won't they? Yeah.
We're filming tomorrow
Friday.
for Friday,
Yeah.
So if you're putting comments on this video, that it won't be till next week, probably.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, any comments, questions, queries, let us know down in the sort of comments below, and they will be elaborated on Friday's show or week after.
They'll get answered at some point.
Yeah. One day we'll get around to it. I think that's about it. Don't forget Daily Deco, your discount code on the Teespring store. So sort of head over to that. Check out that sort of news. Sort of video about Jacques Cousteau living underwater, or Jacques Cousteau's sort of grandson living underwater.
He's still
thank
alive.
You for watching, everybody.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Jacques Cousteau, he's doing well, considering he died in like the 90s or something. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.
Stay classy, scuba divers.